Derby County take on Watford at Pride Park Stadium on Saturday afternoon with a 3 o'clock kickoff. It is a huge game for the Rams as they look to continue their most recent form. Now, over the course of recent weeks, as you will know, Derby County have won 5 in a row. They're on the hunt for win number 6, but will that come this weekend? We're going to find out. Watford, on the other hand, have won 2 of their last 5 with 2 back-to-back 1-1 draws and a 3-1 defeat in their to Coventry. But who is going to come out victorious at Pride Park Stadium? You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you have not done so already. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. This is your home of Derby County content. This is the Derby Digest. Now, this is round 16 of the EFL Championship season, and both teams have a couple of injuries to worry about. Now, obviously, we'll go through Watford first with Wiley, Chakavide and Veta all expected to be out of this one, with Derby County expected to be missing the likes of David Ozoh, Owen Beck, Max Johnston, Liam Thompson, Lewis Travis and even Curtis Nelson. Now, as of time of recording, we have not had an update from John Eustace in regards to David Ozoh, but there will be a full injury review out tomorrow, as well as a press conference breakdown out on the channel, so you do not want to miss that one. Now, with these injuries, there's a lot to discuss. Obviously, it was only a few weeks ago we had the conversation in regards to Owen Beck, and he was expected to be back heading into this weekend's fixture with an under-21s game taking place just before the international break. Unfortunately, he broke down with an injury during that game and is expected to be out again until the end of November. But we'll wait for a full update from John Eustace in that regard. Liam Thompson has been back in and around the squad over the course of the last few weeks, but has not been able to sort of break back in, which isn't to be unexpected, if I'm completely honest. Now, we are anticipating the return of Thompson and both Lewis Travis over the course of the next couple of weeks, and with obviously the new injury to David Ozoh, that can't come any sooner. Now, let's take a look at the league table for these two sides, because it is looking very, very interesting. Now, just a few weeks ago, Derby County were languishing down there near the bottom of the division, but 5 wins in 5 gives them 15 points out of a total of 15, and that has risen them all the way up to 10th place. Now, a win up against Watford on Saturday could see them go as high as 4th place should results go their way. Even without results going their way, Derby County have found themselves in an excellent position. Now, Watford have 20 points from 15 games this season, and they aren't that far behind Derby. It's only a victory behind, so Derby County have got to keep on their toes. Now, obviously, there is a long way to go of this season, but who is going to come out on top in this one is anybody's guess. Now, if we take a look down at that relegation zone, I think it's important to take a look at where we were and where we're going. Sheffield United on 10, Norwich on 9 and Sheffield Wednesday on -4. You look at the playoffs, you've got Millwall and Hull both on 25, Preston on 26, Stoke on 27. That's just 4 points away from Derby County. Derby County are only 6 points off automatic promotion. Now, if we do look at the home form for Derby County, obviously, because Derby County will be playing at home, they've picked up 12 points from 8 games, 10 scored, 10 conceded, and you have to remember that 5 of those conceded goals came up against Coventry City. Watford at home are 17 points out of 8 games, 14 goals scored, 8 conceded, but that doesn't matter for them as they are going to be away from home. And away from home, it is not looking good for Watford. Just the 3 points in 7 games with 5 goals scored, 10 conceded. Are they going to be able to break that duck up against Derby County? That is anybody's guess. Now, Derby's away form has suddenly become quite good. It's 7 games, 11 points, and they're ultimately battling for those playoff places, not just in the home table, not just in the away table, but across the course of the division. Now, in terms of the last 5 matches, Derby County are the best team in the Championship. 15 points from 15, 9 scored, 3 conceded with a +6 goal difference. Watford are down there in 11th, 8 points from 5, 8 scored, 6 conceded. But who is going to come out on top of this one? It's going to be a very, very interesting afternoon. Now, in terms of XG, Derby County are actually 13 places higher than they should be. They're also 7 points better off than they should be in the grand scheme of XG. Now, a lot of people don't agree with the whole XG side of things, but I think it's a really good basis to go off. It shows when you're overperforming. It also shows when you're underperforming. And Derby County at the moment are certainly overperforming. They're taking pretty much every chance they have. They're dominating from set pieces. And ultimately, you cannot take away from the performances we've seen in recent weeks from the likes of Bobby Clark, the likes of Carlton Morris, and even Joe Ward, who has stepped in for Max Johnston over the course of recent weeks. Now, if we look at Watford, they are 8 places worse off than they should be and 2 points worse off than they should be as well. I think you'll find a lot of teams in this division are either overperforming or slightly underperforming, which is not a surprise, to be quite honest with you. But obviously, Watford certainly have been the better team on paper, but Derby County are the ones with the most points. Now, if we look at the head-to-head record of these two sides, it's 6 wins for Derby, it's 1 draw apiece, and then it's 7 wins for Watford. And obviously, if we go back to last season, Derby County lost both games, 2-1 at Vicarage Road and lost 2-0 at Pride Park, and ultimately that was part of the downfall which led to Paul Warne being sacked. Now, Derby County haven't beat Watford since back in 2014, where they won 4-2 in the EFL Championship. Now, there was a big miss of fixtures between 2015 and 2020, when I believe Watford were in the Premier League, and obviously you then had Derby County, who then got relegated down to League One. But Derby County, if you go back to 2010, 4-1, you've then got a 5-1 in 2012, you've got a 4-2 in 2014. It's been a long time since Derby County have beat Watford, and that is something which they're going to hope to change this weekend. Now, obviously, if we do go and look at Watford, they have a very, very good squad, in my opinion, but it's one of those situations where they're very much up and down because of the management situation. You lose a couple of games and it's game over. Now, Derby County fans will remember Tom Ince, obviously a massive player for Derby County. There's been some very, very good players within this Watford side. You look at the likes of Moussa Sissoko, what an incredible history he has. You look at Hector Cipriano, a player who I wanted Derby County to go for this summer. And for me, it is very, very interesting to see how it all shakes out. Obviously, if we look at their last starting 11, it's a 3-4-3, pretty similar to that of Derby County's, with Selvik in goal, Alenia, Pollock and Keeban as the back three, Bowler, Kayembe, Luaza and Patrice on the right. You've then got Doumbia, I'm not even going to try and say that name, Kujmagard, we'll try it anyway, and number 66, I'm not going to try and say that either. Now, obviously, you've got Sissoko to jump in there. Luaza is probably one of the best midfielders in the Championship, 6 goals and 3 assists so far this season. But we are going to have to wait and see sort of how this progresses. Obviously, Luaza is the one to look out for when it comes to goal scoring and even setting up, and he's by far their best player this season so far. But we've got to keep an eye on everybody, and we've got to be careful that we don't let our guard slip after an international break. Now, obviously, for Derby County, it's huge that we sort of keep an eye on those players that we have. You look at Joe Ward, who has been excellent in that right-back position. Obviously, David Ozoh, should he miss out this weekend, which is to be expected, he's going to be a huge miss, which will see the introduction of Ibu Adams next to Bobby Clark. You've got Joe Ward down that right-hand side. He has been absolutely phenomenal since returning to the squad. Patrick Adjimang is finally finding his feet at Derby County in that left-hand side position, which is a position he hasn't played much throughout his career, and he is absolutely flying. And he's created a great partnership with Carlton Morris, and obviously in that forward line you've got Brereton Diaz as well in there, but I think it will be Ryan Brewster to take over that position over the course of the next few months. Now, obviously, for Derby County, they have moved into this 3-4-3 system. Sondre Langas has been by far, in my opinion, the biggest change to this Derby County side. It's been huge over the course of recent weeks, and we're going to have to see how that does develop. Now, over the course of last season, John Eustace averaged 1.5 points per game, and he's doing the exact same right now. But what we're going to have to wait and see is if he can continue that over the course of the season. Carlton Morris has already hit double figures after just 15 games. Patrick Adjimang is the only other Derby County player on 2 or more goals. You've got Joe Ward with 3 assists, Adjumang and Vyman also in those double digits. And what a season it has been for Derby County so far. But who is going to come out on top in Derby County versus Watford? You can let me know your thoughts down below if you have not done so already. Hit like, hit subscribe and turn on that notification bell. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye guys.